Well, howdy there, Internet people, it's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Nebraska turning on Trump's policies. Republican politicians, many of whom exist in their own social media or Fox News-induced echo chambers, keep refusing to take the consistent advice from strategists that says they need to avoid town hall settings. When they refuse to take this advice and end up in situations where their voters can talk to them, it tends not to go well. They're confronted with the Trump policies they supported. Representative Mike Flood had this issue on Monday in Lincoln, Nebraska. There's active pushback in Nebraska. Just kind of think about that for a second. If you think you live in an area so red that you can't find your people, they even exist in Nebraska. So, what happened? Well, Flood began talking about Trump's budget plan, the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill that included the largest cuts to Medicaid in half a century. He was booed. People chanted, "Tax the rich." In an attempt to quell the revolt, he asked the crowd, "So here's a question. Do you think the people who are 28 years old that can work and refuse to work should get free health care?" He didn't seem prepared for the answer when the crowd yelled, "Yes." He said he didn't think most Nebraskans thought that way and said the plan that guts Medicaid would protect it, which is the standard Republican line. The crowd wasn't having it. At one point, he was asked, "How much does it cost for fascism? How much do the taxpayers have to pay for a fascist country?" He basically responded by saying the policies being enacted are what Americans voted for. At one point, he said, quote, "Fascists don't hold town halls with open question and answer series." He was asked by one attendee, quote, "Why did you cut SNAP and healthcare research?" His answer was, quote, "We do not have unlimited money in the United States." He was met with boos and jeers again. Republicans are going to find that a hard sell to the public. Trump is spending hundreds of millions for a ballroom to hold lavish parties, and $1 billion on an obsolete plane described as a palace in the sky. The government has money to pamper the wealthy, but doesn't have enough to feed the poor. Let them eat cake. Except no cake for the poor either. Because that's what they cut. The idea that the U.S. doesn't have the money for basic needs for people tells me that Trump doesn't need a new ballroom because we're in total crisis mode and he shouldn't have any time off. No million-dollar trips to the golf course. Not when the government is saying the country is too weak and too poor to feed people. This is the period where traditionally representatives are meeting with their constituents. You notice many aren't. They're working on plans to pick their voters instead of allowing the voters to pick their representative. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.